radio show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it. I guess my boys got a little quiet there. Okay, well, we'll figure out what happened with our gents. I think I see the problem right now. The mics in the studio got turned off. The studio audience.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
What do you know? It works much better that way. But in any event, we carry on this morning. While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Boy, we got a good group here. Kelly, good morning to see you this morning. Karen, Cheryl, Regina, Joanne, good to see you up there in Washington. Glad to see you with us. Lourdes, glad to see you with us as well. What are we going to celebrate today? I looked at the list, and it's a pretty slim list, so we might have to actually steal some from tomorrow. Electronic Greetings Day is today. I don't know about that one. I wish I should have a ho-hum.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that one will work. National Mississippi Day. No love there. National Moose Day. Not the animal, but the food. So that will stick with that one. What the heck? Checking out the markets. Boy, did you see what happened yesterday? About 1,000 points we've gone up in the last 3 days. Maybe a little more than 1,000 points over the last few days. I'm looking at the markets today, though, and they're giving back a little bit. We're down about 87 points as we speak right now. 87.5 points. The NASDAQ down 29 points. Not too shabby there either. The S&P 500 down 8.81. We have been seeing some very good strength or benefits. I shouldn't say strength. I guess the right term would be benefits in gas prices, as long as you don't live in Taxifornia. If you are in Taxifornia, we don't get any breaks there. We're at 356.8 because of all of the taxes. Ow! National average 251.1, and there are now 21 states that are paying under, there's at least one gas station under $2 a gallon, in 21 states, one station or more. Cheapest gasoline in the land is in Missouri, $2.13.5. Again, California and Taxifornia, we're at about $1.43 a gallon more than they pay in Missouri, $1.43 more than Missouri. So it is amazing, but hey, we like high taxes. Too bad we don't have a good steward of the money. That way they could take care of it a little bit for us. Moving right along. Fannie Mae bonds, they're up, which means interest rates are down a little bit this morning. 10-year Treasury down a couple of basis points. We'll talk more about that in the next segment. Let's take a look at what's happening in the news today. Is there a lot going on. Even since I've prepared the broadcast, got a news report. President Trump has decided that he's not going to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Very fascinating. That's just a slap in the face. Putin likes to always create some sort of animosity, some sort of drama before these big events. And by President Trump now saying, well, we're going to cancel that meeting, it takes Putin off the world stage. Who do you think gets the most publicity at these meetings? It is definitely President Trump. U.S. president generally gets the most publicity at the meetings, but boy, this president sure has a knack for getting in front of the camera and basically telling Mr. Putin, hey, you're not good enough for me to meet with. I don't have time for you. Bit of a slap in the face, a non-violent method of commentary there. So just a bit there. President Trump also ramping up the attacks on Robert Mueller, the investigation into Russian interference. I wonder if he's planning on this being a lifetime appointment, that being Mr. Mueller. I mean, 2 years now we're into this, and he still hasn't got anything other than people that are aged forgetting about emails. Here, I love this one. Did you hear the interview with Mr. Corsi just a few days ago? This was fascinating to me. They seize his computer. They seize access to his emails and text messages. Then they ask him about a message that he doesn't remember. And so he says, no, I didn't have that. They say, well, we got you now, because he didn't remember an email from 2 or 3 years earlier. Do you remember the subject matter of every email, the person on every email that you've communicated with? Heck, I have trouble remembering who I spoke to yesterday. No less being in your 70s and forgetting about somebody that you communicated with years in the past. But that's what this has come to. Unbelievable. The president says it's a total disgrace. I'm just wondering how long we're going to have to keep paying these guys to continue doing that. Speaking of paying, back in the news again, Stormy Daniels, fascinating story, another one that keeps on giving. Stormy Daniels alleging that Michael Avenatti, her attorney, yes, the accused wife beater, Avenatti or his girlfriend, one or the other, but he's been accused of spousal abuse or abusing the lady. Now Stormy Daniels is accusing the attorney of Avenatti of filing a defamation suit against President Trump against her wishes. Really?
You know better than that.
Now, I'm not a fan of Avenatti, but I can't imagine. Why is Stormy Daniels coming out with this now? Why wasn't that mentioned any time earlier? Just to get her name back in the paper, probably trying to make a little bit more money. Unreal. The president again, they had the tree lighting at the White House yesterday. President decided that he lit the tree and left. The press pool had no idea where he was going. Obviously, he didn't get in a car. He just went right back into the White House. And, you know, the press, they want to know everything. But after the garbage that the First Lady's been taking from the press about how she decorated the White House. Now, I don't know. It seems to me that is that the only thing that the press has to deal with these days? Unreal how they can find something to complain about regardless of what's going on. We don't want to talk about all the ill people on the border. We don't want to talk about the people in the caravans, the invaders down there that have MS-13 tattoos on them. We don't want to talk about that. Why would the media share something along those lines? But they want to talk about the decorations at the White House. Unreal. Just totally baffles me. But that is our day and age with the media right now. We need a strong media, but we need them to do their job, which they're not doing. They're supposed to be a watchdog, not an advocate, not propaganda. That's what they do in China. That's what they do in Russia. Now we see that that's what the American media is doing as well. Unreal. Looks like Nancy Pelosi has won again. So Nancy Pelosi does have the votes, 203. She didn't have enough votes without getting some more, but she was the biggest vote getter of the Democrat Party. Again, Nancy Pelosi nominee as Speaker of the House on Wednesday. It was a closed-door meeting with the Democrat caucus. The nomination marks a win for Pelosi in the first major step in her bid to reclaim the leadership position when Democrats take back control of the House, January 2019. She needed only half of the Democrat caucus to vote on her behalf in order to secure the nomination. She served as the Speaker from 2007 to 2011, the only woman to ever hold that position. Despite ultimately running unopposed, Pelosi faced a challenge from a small but vocal fraction of the Democrat congressmen and congressmen-elect who opposed her ascension to that leadership.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
So it looks like we will have Mrs. Pelosi as our Speaker of the House. And as I said in the past, it would be great if she can get a lot done. That would be what's good for the nation. Hope that actually happens. U.S. border agents arrest MS-13 gang member intending on filing for asylum in the United States. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, it was in Calexico port of entry on Saturday. The Department of Homeland Security announced on Wednesday a U.S. Customs and Border Protection press release read, quote, after a short interview, the man told agents he is a Honduran citizen, an active gang member with the notorious Mara Salvatrucha MS-13 international crime organization. The man also told agents he traveled to the United States border with a large group of people from Central America, intending on filing for asylum in the United States, unquote. Statement also said that the gang member will be sent back to Honduras. It's unclear if he was the only gang member arrested at the border. California, obviously, Javier Becerra, always looking for a fight, not looking to protect the people of California, but looking for his own political gain, trying to see how he might be able to weasel his way into the border issues. Maybe California can sue the Trump administration. Does that surprise anybody?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So we do see, I was headed on my notes here that Donald Trump will meet one-on-one with Russia's Putin, but that has been canceled. That is off the table now. So we'll see what happens there. I guess that might give the president a little free time. Hey, maybe he'll go and play some golf down there. I digress. I shouldn't say that. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, further proof it's not 2008 all over again. Your real estate is not in the same place it was back in 2008. We will discuss it. We're going to also talk about, can I sell my home myself, or do I need a real estate professional? How paying off debts affects your credit score, getting rid of the cosigner off your car loan, holiday tipping. We'll talk about that as well. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need Need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our good friends over at Gold Star Mortgage when you're ready for that next mortgage. Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. If you're a real estate professional, how about the 10 for 10? 10 tools to get you 10 new deals next year. Could be 10 deals for the year. Could be 10 deals a month. It depends on you. But that is the program at Gold Star for the real estate professionals. What is happening in the Mortgage Minute today? Well, first off, we take a look at what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 83 points. S&P 500 down 8.5. The NASDAQ down 29.24. Oil, it's up $1.39 a barrel. I think we're going to probably go down to about $45, $46 a barrel on the oil market, but we will continue to watch that. What does that mean for the bond market then? That is our next look, is the 10-year Treasury on the bonds. That one there is down 2 basis points, 3.02. I think we'll probably have to get a little bit of stimulus there for the bond to go up enough so that the yield drops to below that 3 level. That 3.01 is the next big hurdle, but I think the mental factor of 3 is going to be a big issue to get through. We're also looking at the Fannie Mae 30-year bond. That one is up 13 basis points, which means the rates are down a little bit. They were up quite a bit yesterday, so going down today will be a nice surprise. We did break through the 50-day moving average yesterday, so we'll see what happens. A lot of room on the upside for that bond to move up further, which could be interest rates dropping. Obviously, the interest rates always move in the opposite direction of the bond. That is just a mathematic number that we are always watching for you. So why are all these things happening? Well, it's all got to do with the Federal Reserve yesterday. They came out with their numbers, but today we looked at the highly anticipated personal consumption expenditures. The PCE report, which is the Fed's favored measure of inflation, showed that inflation cooled slightly in October. Headline inflation on a year-over-year basis remained stable at 2.0%. Core rate, which strips out food and energy prices, was reported at 1.8%. This was below estimates of 1.9 and lower than last month's figure, which was also revised lower from the original 2.0 to 1.9 and was lower than estimates of 1.9. Initial jobless claims, which measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the first time, showed that there were 234,000 claims last week. This represented an increase of 10,000 from the previous report, which was unrevised at 224,000 and was 15,000 higher than estimates. Although claims remain at strong levels, this is the highest reading since May. There are some adjustments for Thanksgiving, which could have an effect on the numbers, but this is something that we're going to be paying closer attention to because rising claims could be a first sign of things turning. Previous report was unrevised at 224,000, and that was the sample week, which the Labor Department uses in their modeling and estimates, and is a contributor to the jobs report. Claims at this level would still point to a strong jobs report for November, which will be reported on December 7th. Next week that'll be reported. But it is higher or worse than recent months. There are, of course, many other factors that can influence the numbers. The average 4 weeks, 223,000 is our average number. The largest decrease, 6861, right here in the state of confusion. Pending home sales, that measures signed contracts on existing homes and is a good leading indicator for existing home sales. Those were down 2.6% in October. This was weaker than the small 0.3% gain expected. Pending home sales are now down 6.7% year over year. Sales in the West fell the most, while the Northeast saw a 1% gain. The National Association of Realtors is attributing the decline to higher rates. That'd be interest rates, which really hit in October. As we've been saying, we expected to see a dip, with this being a real-time read on contracts during the month of October. Since then, rates have come down a bit, so we will see how the numbers are affected in the next report. And I should tell you, at 7 a.m. California time this morning, we did get the Freddie Mac number on interest, 4.81%. It did hold steady from last week's report, 4.81. Now remember, you have to pay a little bit to get that number. You have to pay a half a point for it. Last year, this time, it was 3.90. So 3.90 versus 4.81. Ow! Yeah, you might have wanted to have bought back then. We were telling you that things would get more expensive. But, now you can't cry over that spilled milk. It is what it is, and that is gone, so we won't be able to deal with that. Later today, we're going to get the Fed minutes from the November 8th Fed meeting, but these will be likely uneventful as they are from earlier in the month, and we actually heard from the Federal Reserve Chairman yesterday. So that's a big issue right there. When you hear from the Federal Reserve Chairman, that's why the market was up over 600 points. Fed Chairman came out with some very what they call dovish. It was information that was beneficial or exciting to the market. Basically saying that we're pretty much at a neutral level. We're not there. The Fed rate is not helping or hurting the markets at this point. So that's a positive right there. That is the Mortgage Minute, again brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage, the only one I know of with that fast pass loan approval. Saw this report, I thought I'd share it with you. 10 best workplaces for millennials. The oldest millennials are now in their late 30s, and this generation is the biggest part of the U.S. labor force. When asked, millennials are less likely than baby boomers to respond that creativity and fun are important to them in a company. What matters to millennials is how the company will help them grow, learn, and expand their careers. Because of the current low unemployment rate, it is a job seekers market, and a good number of these seekers are millennials. They make up 35% of the labor force. The good news for employers, however, is that 60% of millennials are open to multiple job opportunities. As the year comes to an end, the question on the mind of everyone is, what companies are millennial friendly? What do they have in common? Are they progressive? What are their values? Ideal workplaces are defined by millennials. Contrary to popular belief, millennials are not just looking for jobs at tech companies or startups. As a matter of fact, ideal workplaces for millennials span across multiple industries. Among these industries are finance, healthcare, travel, chemicals, and securities. In fact, out of the top 3 companies, not a single one was a tech company, and only one technology company made the top 10. But what are the similar values shared by these companies that make them attractive to the millennials? First off, growth opportunity. As we stated earlier, opportunity for growth is the most important aspect of a job for many millennials, and that is why companies like Kaiser Permanente, a healthcare conglomerate, are on the list. At Kaiser, employees create individual development plans with their superiors to help them grow their careers. At Pfizer, employees are offered unique short and medium career development opportunities like job rotation that allows them to experience work in other areas of the company so that they can learn more. EY, who is one of the big four accounting firms worldwide, offers its employees a structured curriculum of over 1,000 courses in addition to external education materials. Making an impact. Millennials are generally tired of businesses themselves. According to Deloitte, fewer than half of the millennials believe businesses behave ethically and have a commitment to help society improve. Also, the same study discovered that about 83% of millennials believe a company's success should not be measured only by their financial performance, but also by the impact they have on society. Discover Financial Services, ranked at number 2, has Discover Cares, a program that provides support and volunteers for programs like Big Brothers Big Sisters of America and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Kaiser Permanente, who came in at third place, recently unveiled its plan to invest $200 million aimed at reducing homelessness. This is one of the largest ever contributions made by a company towards homelessness. Prioritizing flexibility is also on the list. A Deloitte report credited millennials for being culture leaders in the workplace. According to the report, millennials are leading the charge of changing the way work is considered, including asking for flexible work environments that do not have enforced working hours or locations. Wow, wouldn't that nice be if we didn't have to go into the office ever? We didn't have to tell our boss what time we were going to be there. Results also showed that a flexible work environment fosters increased loyalty with millennial workers. Among the millennial workers who claim to have more flexibility than they did 3 years ago, 55% have plans to stay with their current employers for at least 5 years. Among those who have less flexibility than they did 3 years ago, 17% plan on staying for the next 5 years. Because of this, more companies are beginning to adopt a more flexible work environment. All the companies featured within the top 10 list boast of flexible work environments as one of their employee benefits. Prioritizing health and family. The trend among baby boomers was to basically be a workaholic. But for millennials, access to quality health care is a benefit that they demand from their workplace, followed by a priority on their families. For example, Discover offers employees on-site fitness centers, access to healthy eating programs like Weight Watchers, as well as access to a mother's room at the office. Southwest is ranked at number 5 and offers its employees and their significant others up to $500 for taking steps toward being healthy. Technology giant Apple comes in at number 8, and the family benefits include a very generous parental leave policy, accompanied by an offer by the company to handle the cost of egg freezing should any employee need it. Here is the top 10 list of companies regarded by millennials as an ideal place to work at. Number 1, Northrop Grumman. Number 2, Discover Financial Services. We already told you number 3 was Kaiser Permanente. Number 4, Delta Airlines. Number 5, Southwest Airlines. Number 6, Apple. Number 7, Pfizer. Number 8, Capital One. Number 9, EY. And number 10, the Dow Chemical Company. Just a few of the best workplaces for millennials. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, further proof it's not 2008. Real estate all over again. 10 states where rent is almost half your income, and how to get a cosigner off a car loan. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And I will be delivering it every day at Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. That is NEST. They are the first, they're the quickest that I know of to get that information out to you. I've checked in some of the websites. We've done some tests with agents where we've watched them put a property, a new listing on the MLS, on the multiple listing service. And we wanted to see how fast it would get sent out to the different, or they basically call them that, through the aggregators, going out to different sites. And Nest was by far, they were the quickest to get those out to people. So we really like seeing that. It is a big benefit for folks. So what is it? We're talking this morning. We wanted to take a look and see, trying to find the report here actually, about proof that it's not 2008 all over again. That is our subject this morning. 2008, that was not a good time to be in the world of real estate, to be a homeowner. If you were thinking of selling, it didn't matter if you weren't selling. Really didn't matter about the real estate at that time. But home sales numbers are leveling off. The rate of price appreciation has slowed to more historical normal averages, and inventory is finally increasing. We are heading into a more normal housing market. However, some are seeing these adjustments as red flags and are suggesting that we are heading back to the same challenges we experienced in 2008. And if you're a regular listener of Ron Siegel Radio, I'm sure you probably know better than that.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, we're not going back to 2008. Let's look at one set of statistics that prove the current market is nothing like the one that preceded the housing crash last decade. The previous bubble was partially caused by unhealthy levels of mortgage debt. New purchasers were putting down the minimum down payment, resulting in them having little, if any, equity in their homes. Existing homeowners were using their homes as ATMs by refinancing and swapping their equity for cash. When prices started to fall, many homeowners found themselves in a negative equity situation where their mortgage was higher than the value of their home. So they walked away, which caused prices to fall even further. When this happened, even more homeowners found themselves in negative equity situations, which caused them to walk away as well, and so a vicious cycle formed. Today, the equity situation is totally different. According to a new report from Atom Data Solutions, more than 1 in 4 homes with a mortgage have at least 50% equity. At least 50% equity. The report explains, and I quote, nearly 14.5 million U.S. properties were equity rich, where the combined estimated amounts of loans secured by the property was 50% or less of the property's estimated market value. The 14.5 million equity-rich properties in the third quarter of 2018 represented 25.7% of all properties with a mortgage. Now remember, there are quite a few properties that have no mortgage. In addition, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, 30.3% of homes in the country, that's the quantifying, have no mortgage on them. 30.3%. 42.5% of the properties in California are equity rich. 42.5%. Almost 50% of all homes have at least 50% equity. If we take both numbers, that 30.3 of all homes without a mortgage and 17.9 with at least 50% equity, 25.5%, 25.7% of the 69.3% of homes with a mortgage, we realize that 48.2% of all homes in the country have at least 50% equity. I know that's a lot of numbers, so if you want to get all of that again, we did share that on Ron Siegel Radio on our Facebook page and all of our other social media sites. Unlike 2008, almost half of the homeowners in the country are sitting on massive amounts of home equity. They will not be walking away from their homes if the housing market begins to soften, and we have suggested that the market probably has softened. We spoke earlier this week. Linda Eisenman was in and chatting with us, realtor and a broker locally and right there on the streets. And she was sharing the same thing. The market has softened. So, and some of our other numbers are showing that the market has softened. There's more people coming on to more properties coming on market. So with all of that being said, do you think that we are looking at another 2008? Do you think people are going to be foolish enough to just walk away from all of that equity in their properties instead of selling the properties, instead of refinancing the properties, instead of doing anything on their own? I suggest not. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. So now the question then becomes, can I sell my home myself? That becomes the next thought. Can you just go out there and put a sign up? Is it that easy? Well, selling your home without an agent may sound empowering at first. It certainly may save you money on agent fees and commissions. However, the truth is that selling your home yourself can be very complicated. There is a lot that goes into the process that a typical homeowner wouldn't know. The simple truth is that as an FSBO, we call it, for sale by owner individual, you don't always know exactly what is involved when you're trying to sell your home. There is a lot of paperwork involved, some which you might not even understand. That doesn't mean you can't do it. The National Association of Realtors showed that it is possible. It is less convenient than the alternative. The following numbers are for 2017. About 8% of all homes sold in the year 2016 were for sale by owner. These homes typically sold, national number, for $190,000. The most effective FSBO methods included yard signs at 35%, classified ads 11%, friends and relatives 24%. The numbers show some of the difficulties that FSBO sellers faced. 15% said they had issues with deciding on the right price. 12% said they had issues understanding the necessary paperwork. 3% said they had difficulty finding the time to deal with the sales process. Don't be discouraged, though. A huge percentage of those who put up their homes for sale actually succeeded in selling the home. The process was more tedious than they initially thought it would be. So if you're still asking yourself, can I sell my home myself? The answer is yes, you can, but it will take some work. Now, why you might want to sell your home yourself. One reason people choose to sell their homes themselves is because of the savings. If you sell your home yourself, you will save money that would have gone towards paying the real estate agent's commission. On average, the typical real estate agent commission is 6% of the sale price. This means if your home sold for $400,000, you'd have to pay a real estate agent $24,000. The $24,000 commission payment comes out of your home equity. If you had a mortgage of $250,000, that would make your net equity $150,000. That $150,000 is where the $24,000 would come from at the end of the sale. You end up with $126,000 after making the sale because of what you pay your realtor. You also need to consider the fact that closing costs go with selling a house. These can vary and be expensive. Once all said and done, an owner may end up making less than they thought they would on the sale. That is why you find homeowners who want to sell their houses themselves. It can save quite a bit of money. 3 things you need to know before you sell your home yourself. As you probably already know, there is more to selling your home than just putting a for sale sign in the front yard. It also includes the following, but not exclusively these: placing that for sale advertisement on real estate websites, staging your home for open houses, making time to meet potential buyers. Aside from that, there are other things that you have to do once you put your home up for sale. Let's take a look at some of those steps involved in selling your home. Well, first off, you have to determine the right market value for your home. It is absolutely important to determine the fair market price for your home. Get the emotions out. Look at the competition. You need to remember that the sentimental value for your place on the house won't be reflected in its actual market value. If you price it too low, then you may end up walking away with less than you should have in the first place. If you price it too high, there's a chance it will take longer to sell or not sell at all. You have to price it just right. Allow yourself some wiggle room because people will likely try to negotiate a lower price. There are 3 ways you can determine the value of your home. Use real estate valuation websites. Most of them are not going to give you the great information, but that's just the way it is. Hire an appraiser. This is the most effective way to get an accurate estimation of your property's value. Compare other homes in your area. What have other homes in your neighborhood sold for? Make sure that these homes are comparable to the one you're selling. You'll want to look at the square footage, for example. Remember that hiring an appraisal will still cost you money, somewhere between $400 to $600 for a report. Even then, mortgage companies will not accept it. Get ready to work hard. You need to know that this process can be time-consuming. You have to prepare the home for sale by making necessary repairs or improvements. You also need to create advertisements and field calls from potential buyers. You'll also be responsible for finding appraisal companies and lawyers for the sale in some instances. All of these essential tasks will take time and a fair amount of legwork because you will likely also have other obligations like your full-time job or a family. Selling your home can get a little frustrating. You won't do it all by yourself. Although you're selling your home by yourself, you are not the only person working on it. Many states require a real estate lawyer or title agent get involved in the sales. This means that you have to find someone to help you with the sale. Once you do all this, you can close the sale. Hopefully, you make money on it. Yes, selling your house on your own is entirely possible. Some people may even think it's fun. It does, however, involve a great deal of work. But here's the issue that many people don't think about. Real estate professionals are doing this on a regular basis. And the last numbers I saw is that a real estate professional is going to get you 14% more money for your house than you're going to get on your own. 14%. So if they get you 14% more money and they take 6%, you're 8% ahead. So why would you want to go to all that work to get less money for your property and then expose yourself to all of the risk that comes with that? Yes, risk. Because if you don't do all the disclosures properly, you could be held liable if there's a problem down the road. Why not give that to a professional who knows what they're doing and mitigate that risk? Just a thought for you. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to talk about some credit issues, how to get a cosigner off your car loan, and how paying off debt affects your credit score. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube, RonSiegelRadio.com archives. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. With a couple of questions we get on a regular basis, I thought I would throw them out there for you. How paying off debts affects your credit score. With credit playing such a huge factor in our financial futures, it's no wonder we look for ways to maximize our credit scores, and a common strategy for building our credit scores is to pay off debt, which can help improve a credit score, especially if the card holder is carrying a large balance. Seems logical then to assume That the same strategy applies to other types of accounts, like a car, a home, for example. And if you follow this theory, paying off a loan early might sound like an excellent strategy for building your credit score. Unfortunately, paying off non-credit card debt early may actually make you less creditworthy, according to some scoring models. When it comes to credit scores, there's a big difference between revolving accounts and installment loans. The revolving accounts are the credit cards. The installment loans are mortgages, student loan debt, car payments. Those are all installment loans. Paying an installment loan off early won't improve your credit score. It won't lower your score either, but keeping an installment loan open for the life of the loan is actually be a better strategy because it shows on-time payments. Credit cards are revolving accounts, which means you can revolve a balance from month to month as it goes. Credit card with a zero balance and a higher credit limit are very good for your scores, so keep that in mind. Sorry about that. I got a little... With our Facebook Live feed, sometimes we get intrusions there. So you just want to make sure that you are watching that. Keep your balances of the credit cards low. Don't pay off certain things. Sometimes if you pay off collections, that'll hurt your credit score. You got to negotiate those properly. If you need help with that, give me a call at 800-306-1990. Your credit length of credit history is a big issue for you. So you got to think twice about paying off those installment loans. Put the money toward, and it's probably smarter for you anyway, to pay down or pay off the credit card debt first. Even if you leave, sometimes I'll just leave $1 balance on my credit card to carry over from one month to the next, and then I make that payment before the payment due date. Remember, I've told you this before. Always make 2 payments every single month for your credit cards. That's how you're going to maximize that credit score. That is the Your Credit Matters segment. Again, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. Just to close the loop on the conversation we had a little bit ago, for those of you that are not watching us on the Facebook live stream, had a message from our guest from, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Linda Eisenman was on with us, sharing some great information about the changing market. And one of the big items that we do want to mention, and Linda brought up, which is very, very valid, is a normalized market is extremely healthy. When you have a market that's growing as fast as our market was, our real estate market, you have to always worry that if the market goes up that fast, it can also go down just as quickly. So when you're watching a 10 to 15% growth pattern, you can then look and say, and I say this all the time about the stock market also, if you're watching a 10 to 15% growth, you can expect a 10 to 15% fall. So we want to be more around that normalized number because that is a sustainable number. So even though we were growing significantly, and the media will now be telling you that housing prices are slowing, but what they're really not telling you is they're still growing, but just not as fast. And as Linda pointed out, is that speed can sometimes be detrimental. It may not be in your best interest to have it growing that fast. That's the big issue right there. And we just want to make sure that you've got that, you're watching that part of it. So, one of the other questions that comes in, help, I need to get the cosigner off my car loan. Had many readers write in after divorce and ask how to split their assets with an ex-spouse. One of the most common questions is how to remove an ex or another cosigner from a car loan and title. So we'll chat about that. Don't forget, I shared with you yesterday the big changes that are coming in the divorce process and taxation of divorce support payments. And that's going to be a big effect on the mortgages going forward after December 21. So we got that information from our guest yesterday. If you didn't get that information, the broadcast is on ronsiegelradio.com in the archives. And you also can see the video of it, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. But the video is also in the archive. So what's the role of a cosigner? It can be challenging to remove a cosigner from a loan. To gain a better understanding of why, let's look at why a cosigner is used at all. Essentially, a cosigner is needed when the borrower's own credit and or income isn't enough to qualify for the loan by himself or herself. The cosigner presumably has stronger credit and income and is required by the lender or creditor to help guarantee that the loan will be repaid. You may be able to refinance a car loan in your name to get the cosigner off the loan. In essence, you'll buy the car from your ex-spouse and go through the car buying process. The spouse who is responsible for the car loan payments, the primary signer, should ideally assume credit liability for the loan. It's also a good idea to go through this process right away, regardless of what your divorce decree states. And again, I've shared this with you before. What the divorce decree says tells you what the court has said is about the liability. That may not be exactly what the lenders might say. Because as a lender, and I lead a lending team, we don't want to deal with a court. So even though the court might say party A is responsible, party B is not, we don't want to have to go to court to find that out and to have it enforced. So we just put the debt in for everybody. That's just one of the ways it works. Not going to get into all of the holiday tipping guide that I had for you, but we'll give you a little bit of that. We might try and get some of that in again in a future broadcast. But hey, how about $20 to $100 for your handyman? If you have a garage attendant, $10 to $50. Landlord or building manager, $50 upwards depending on their level of support. Housekeeper, equivalent to 1 day or week's service. The newspaper and delivery man, $10 to $30. I think that's a bit high, but that's what they say. Pool cleaner and lawn maintenance, equivalent to 1 week's work. Trash collector, there may be some restrictions there, but you might want to give that to them if they're doing a good deed for you as well. We'll try and get into some more of these in the future. But right now we have to ask you to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.